Also, I should mention by Paramount Pictures Anchorman 2 in theaters everywhere tomorrow, rated PG. I'm with my buddy. What?
PG-13.
PG-13? Is it? I got
Nothing's rated PG anymore.
PG-13.
Why is nothing rated PG anymore?
Why, who would go?
Children, families, people who want clean.
Children can't get up and go to the movies. They need a parent. No parent wants to see a PG movie.
Parents who care about their children.
I know. Jason. I make PG movies. Nobody goes.
Wait. What was your last PG movie?
Dunstan checks in.
No, my last PG movie was Hachi. The story of the Japanese dog that waited years and years for his master to come home.
And is still waiting for years and years for people to come to the theater.
Still waiting for people to show up.
And who was in the movie Hachi?
Richard Gere.
Wow.
Might have heard of Richard Gere?
You were in Pretty Woman with Richard. He was in Pretty Woman with Richard Gere.
I was.
Woo.
And
I don't know why they're applauding.
Joan Allen, the lovely actress Joan Allen, was in this movie.
And who played Hachi?
Hachi was played by 4 dogs.
Oh,
four different dogs.
Don't break that wall.
4 different dogs. And I will tell you, my first day on the set, the makeup women said, "Oh, you're working with Lola today." I said, "Oh, is she a special dog?" She said, "She's the Meryl Streep of dogs."
And could she emote?
And you know what? She was very emotive, and her accent work was fantastic.
When a dog is a star, do they still lick themselves?
Yeah.
They don't have somebody to lick them for them?
Both.
I got to tell you, I was working on Universal Studios on something irrelevant, but I'm walking around a corner, and I see this collie. That's the most amazing collie I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's just stunning. The hair is like you've never seen in your life. And I go around, I go, "Is that who I think it is?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, it's Lassie." I said, "Oh my, that's an amazing looking dog." So he said, "Come in the trailer with the dog, you can pet her." And Lassie, and the dog's got an attitude. You can tell it's a star, and he knows it's a star. And in the trailer is another collie with like chunks out, and it's twitching, and it's not making eye contact. I said, "Who's that?" He goes, "Stunt double." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Lassie's there," and we go, "Oh my God, Lassie's going to blow up." And they move Lassie out, and they put this guy in, and stuff goes off, and the dog goes, and they don't care. The dog's charred. His skin, he's got a skin condition. Yeah. The one eye is twitching. He's peeing while he's walking.
The dog is going, "Please let me clear landmines, please."
Now, before we can't get off the subject. We can't get off the subject without you, since Tom brought up the movie.
Yeah.
You were in the Dunstan Checks In movie.
You betcha.
And he was good in it, too. Great movie, by the way. I distributed that movie.
Whoa, Bob, what makes it a great movie? It's the best orangutan film you've ever seen?
Best orangutan film
And
ever.
There's more, Every Which Way, but
all right, wait, okay, so every which way but a career. So, if people don't know, you were in a movie with an orangutan. An orangutan.
Yes.
Easy for you to say. And it was the premise is you run a hotel.
I run a 5-star hotel. I'm a widower with 2 young boys, and we have a jewel thieving orangutan in the hotel during inspection.
So you got to find the orangutan. But the funniest thing is, the movie's made and done.
Yeah.
And then you had to fly across country with the orangutan.
I had to go out on publicity
to tell everybody what happened.
But you can't fly an orangutan in a commercial jet in the passenger section because they can pop your head like a zit if they so choose. And the orangutan does not fly in steerage. So for that reason alone, the lovely 20th Century Fox company allowed me to fly on the company jet to babysit the orangutan, who sat in the emergency exit seat and fingered the eject switch the entire way. And the trainer is sitting there reading a magazine. I'm going, "Larry, the monkey." And he goes, "Put your hand down." Puts his hand down.
You smacked it.
Smacks him on the head, of course, yeah.
And then Larry falls asleep.
"Hello, Peter."
Larry falls asleep.
Larry falls asleep. The monkey's got his hand. I was sure the monkey was going to bring the plane down.
And they had the strength of like 20 minutes.
They're very, very strong.
How do you know that, Tom?
That orangutan hit me with an umbrella.
Any particular reason?
We were showing him merchandising we were going to use for the movie, and one of the things was an umbrella. And he took the umbrella. I said, "Here, look!" And he took the umbrella and he hit me right across the.
Why were you showing the orangutan merchandise?
He was a star.
He had approval.
He was a star in the movie.
My contract was garbage.
You really met the orangutan.
Yeah, I swear. And we have photos of me going down for the 10 count when he hit me with. These things are strong.
They're really strong.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
The other question is, because I saw him one time. I've been around. You've been.
By the way, the orangutan could play second base. I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah. What do you? Wow.
He has trouble going to his right.
What an arm. You got a decision on second base yet?
Still working on it, Peter.
So this is
we'll have one for you by 9:30.
I got to ask you this though, since Richard Gere was in the movie. This is a guy. I was in a cafeteria somewhere at one of the movie companies. This is a guy who walks in, and from a guy's perspective, this is one of the best looking guys I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in my life.
he's. My wife reacts to nobody. Clearly, she chose me. So, but she.
Everybody.
Kipper, we need an antidepressant immediately.
How could that be?
Violin music.
But my wife came onto the set of Pretty Woman, and Richard batted his eyes at her, and she went, "He has stardust on him." And
He's
that
really
was-
stunning. What is it about him?
He's an extraordinarily good-looking guy, and you know what? He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He's a really good guy.
You said that 3 times.
He's a really good
What's
guy.
it done for anybody here? Say it one more time. He's a really good guy.
Meet the Dalai Lama.
Could he play second?
Could he play second base? Richard Gere.
Do you know Richard Gere, Tom?
No.
Why is that? You're the czar and you're the...
Because Richard Gere didn't have approval on the merchandising.
I
Only the
never,
monkey.
never met him. I just,
Who's the biggest star you ever met that really wowed you? Because you've met every star there is.
Oh.
I mean, I've been there. Ned's been to the Oscars with you. I've been to the Oscars with you. You've met every star. They all know you. Who's the biggest star?
there are so many.
Make up a story. It's right
Narrow it down.
Tom Cruise, Warren Beatty, Annette Bening.
there. I didn't mean
Meryl
name
Streep.
drop. I wanted a story.
No, you want a story about
Give me a
Tom
list of
Cruise?
stars.
A list. Yeah, that's a nice list.
You want stories?
An amazing story.
Come back to me.
Like he rescued somebody. Did Tom Cruise rescue anybody?
Tom Cruise is one of the nicest gentlemen you've ever met.
I'll second that, by the way.
Yeah,
No, what happened to Gere? I thought Gere was the nicest. You said that 3 times.
No, I said Gere's a very nice man. I didn't use est.
Oh, now, Ned, what are you doing? He's whispering plays. Ned's giving him plays from third.
I was reminding Tom about one of his favorite stories.
Yeah, this is a true story. 2 of my favorite actors are Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito. And we became friendly on a movie called Romancing the Stone. And then they made a sequel called Jewel of the Nile. And they were getting ready to go back to do publicity in Boston for Jewel of the Nile. And a very good friend of mine who was in his late 30s at the time and had 6 children was in the hospital, and he had lymphoma. And he was getting worse and worse and worse. And he had given up hope. He was working at the company that I was working at, General Cinema Theaters. And he had given him hope to live. And his wife called me and said, Jack is not going to make it. He's given up. And he was a huge movie fan. And I went to Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito, and I said, I need you to do me a favor if you would. Would you visit my friend Jack at the hospital? Michael and Danny said, absolutely. And at that time, they weren't flying commercial. They got on a red eye to Boston. When Michael and Danny got to Boston, they had a limousine waiting. And in the limousine, they had popcorn and balloons. And at 6:30 in the morning, they walked into Mass General looking for Jack Leonard. And there they were. Michael Douglas, this handsome guy, and Danny DeVito, this handsome, shorter guy. And they said, Jack Leonard's room, please. And every nurse in the hospital starts following them. And they walk into Jack Leonard's room, and the way Michael explained it to me, he was sitting by the window at 6:30 in the morning looking out, and he looked terrible. And he turned around and he saw them, and he couldn't believe they had come to see him. They spent about 40 minutes with him talking movies. And Michael Douglas said to him before he left, he said, you get better and you will come to the premiere of the next movie we make. And that was 86, 87. Jack Leonard's still alive.
He hasn't been to the premiere, but he's still alive.
And
And
nice-
Welch-
I forgot about that.
By the way, nicer than Richard Gere. How about that? Nicer than Richard Gere.
very nice.
Hey, we're going to take a brief break for traffic. We do traffic first on the 4s, and we'll be right back with the Power Guys from Canter's Deli. Talk Radio 790 KABC.